the backcourt. The officials, Lenny Wirth, veteran from Mount Healthy, Ohio, working with Ed Hightower from Alton, Illinois, and Rusty Herring from Durham, North Carolina. Seton Hall with victories over Pepperdine, Creighton, and Arizona to get to this regional final. And of course, the Arizona game was an upset. Played tough down the stretch to win that game 81-77. And UNLV over Montana, Georgetown, and Utah to get to this game. Bill, your final thoughts before tip-off?
Well, first coach I've heard all year mention playing against UNLV that he wasn't going to really look to hold the basketball and use a lot of that 45-second clock is P.J. Carlissimo. They'll look to slow it down a hair, but they just feel so confident that they can go right after this UNLV ball club.
Rebels in white, Seton Hall in blue. Stacey Augmon guarded by Gordon Winchester. UNLV up.
A little change for UNLV. Anthony is going to match up against the hair. And that means Hunt is going to have to initiate the aggressive defense from that lead guard position.
Taylor defended by Hunt. Taylor's the point guard. Winchester gets the offensive rebound on the miss. The basket will go, and there'll be a foul against the Rebels. Congratulations to Kansas and Roy Williams. They're heading for the Final Four with a victory over Arkansas, impressively coming from behind. Larry Johnson picking up that foul, and Gordon Winchester, who has averaged 12 points in the last 2 games. That's 5 more than his season's average on the line.
He's going to be asked to do more than he normally does, because when Seton Hall misses a shot, he's got to be back there defensively. They need 3 people back to stop UNLV's fast break.
Anderson Hunt short with the 3, picked off by Avent. Here's the lead pass to the hair. Augmon won't get in his way, and it's 5-2.
Well, we see this Seton Hall ball club. They have fire in their eyes. They wanted a piece of this UNLV ball club.
And a whistle and a foul away from the ball.
Now, good look up the court by Taylor. And there's the hair finishing it off.
The hair coming in, averaging 27 points a game in the 3 playoff games thus far. Foul was on Arturas Kardashevis. First foul against Seton Hall. Here's George Ackles, hitting from outside and missing. Good rebound by Winchester. Minute and a half has gone by. Seton Hall leading 5-2. Loop it in to Avent from Kardashevis. Winchester with another offensive rebound, his second.
Well, what we've seen is 2 offensive rebounds against UNLV. They're just showing that the Seton Hall team is going to have a presence on the boards and play physical basketball.
Kardashevis, red hot from 3 in the last game against Arizona, hits his first. 8 straight runoff by the Pirates. Anderson Hunt misses a 2-point attempt, and Seton Hall all over the defensive board.
So far, Larry Johnson has not touched the basketball for UNLV. They're going to have to get him involved.
Driving is Taylor, and it's tipped and missed. Rebound by Augmon. Winchester going after it, and they're going to call the foul against Seton Hall's Gordon Winchester.
A couple of the things, one of them we just saw with Taylor penetrating against the defensive pressure being applied by UNLV. They're going to look to penetrate, to beat that pressure, to look to go backdoor. And we also saw the lob to Avent because they'll be looking to front him.
Seton Hall has won 6 in a row, 12 of their last 13, but no one can match the winning streak right now of 44 by the running Rebels. Driving into Stacey Augmon. He has all 4 Rebel points.
It just shows his versatility that he can go left, he can go right, and he can hit the deep jump shot. Slapped
away by Ackles. It's still Seton Hall's ball. Last defeat by UNLV was February 26th of 1990, and it was UC Santa Barbara who administered the law. Winchester gets it to Avent. Slapped away by Stacy Augman on a 3-on-1 fast break. The trailer is Larry Johnson.
That's Rebel basketball. Turnover leading to easy opportunities.
Karnisovas. Staying with him is Larry Johnson. Avent over Ackles. Saving it, not quite, was Greg Anthony.
Now watch, Avent will put it on the floor. Quick hands by Augman, and there they are. 3-on-1, fast break. Anthony making the right decision, finding Larry Johnson.
Seton Hall will inbound.
Now we see the Amoeba defense.
The Amoeba defense, which we'll explain, was used primarily against Utah, predominantly in the second half, to great success. Taylor hits the jumper to make it 10-6. Coming right back is Stacy Augman, and he's got 6 points so far.
They don't allow you to take a deep breath.
Right now, the Rebels back to the man-to-man. The hair is short with the 3. Rebound, Augman. Lead pass. Good catch by Anthony. Larry Johnson. Always there to follow it up for his second hoop. Averaging 23 a game, and he led the team against Utah. High to 10. Spirited opening minutes here at Seattle.
One of the problems UNLV has had defensively, we see it right there, making the entry pass. Their big people aren't getting out and denying the entry pass.
Karnisovas trying to get around Larry Johnson, and that will be the second personal foul against the guy who not only has been the big offensive force, but the emotional man for the Rebels in the last game.
People love the back defensively against the UNLV fast break. One of the players is circled. Gordon Winchester is supposed to be the one getting back as soon as the shot's attempted, and we see that he's not even getting back on the fast breaking opportunities, and that's something that's got to concern Coach Carlissimo.
Inside to Jerry Walker, who's come into the game. Jerry Walker, an important man for his physical presence, played 31 minutes against Arizona. Pirates are up by 2. Knocked away by Walker. 5 minutes have gone by in this opening half. Inside, Larry Johnson on the baseline.
Now I wonder if Seton Hall doesn't go back and go at Larry Johnson, seeing that he picked up his second early foul.
Johnson and Augman each have 6 points. The rest of the Rebels are 0 for 4 shooting. Here is Walker. They're trying to go at Johnson, but the ball is slapped away. And here's Anderson Hunt with Karnisovas behind him, and he misses the layup. Oliver Taylor penetrated. Basket, no. Let's see if the basket counts. An offensive foul has been called. And no basket.
Now, look at Larry Johnson holding off Walker. He's so strong with that left arm, giving him that easy opportunity to the hole.
Into the game for UNLV is Elmore Spencer, their 7-foot junior center, who had a terrific game against Utah. And Brian Caver is now in at point guard for Seton Hall, a freshman who's got tremendous poise. Jerry Walker has picked up a foul, and that will be the 14th foul against the Pirates.
It appears after that timeout, one of the things that Coach Sarkanian wanted to do was to get Larry Johnson involved at the offensive end of the court, because the last 2 times they've tried to go inside.
Johnson close to the basket against Walker. Avent the rebound. Pressure by Anthony. And Avent showing his ball handling skill. For 6'10", not bad.
With Spencer in the ball game now for UNLV, it just gives them a lot of more strength up front, takes away a little bit of quickness, though.
Hunt is all over the hair.
They're going to have to get him involved, setting some screens and allowing him to come off for some open shots.
The Hair has scored only 2 points so far, and Stacey Augman reaches in. And that will be his first personal foul and the 13th foul against UNLV.
UNLV foul number 32.
Now look at Hunt just trying to face guard him, getting up on him, putting that pressure on him, not allowing him to shoot the jump shot.
That's the man UNLV is looking to stop. And on the loop pass, nearly careless, Anthony nearly picked it off. Giving up his dribble was Avent, and Greg Anthony gets it back. Seton Hall was sloppy there, and UNLV was alert.
Well, the big factor for UNLV so far is turnovers. They've been able to create them.
From the corner, a 2-point basket by Greg Anthony, who said right now we're a very average team when he was talked to yesterday about the Rebels.
He was the most vocal about getting an opportunity to play against Seton Hall. He said, boy, I was rooting for them. We wanted a piece of this team.
Terry DeHare fires for 3, and the rebound is by Augman. Here's the number break, 3-on-1. Haber the only one back, and Anderson Hunt. So the 2 guards start cooking for UNLV, and the Rebels are up by 4.
One problem you have when you're playing against UNLV, especially Hunt, as soon as any shot goes up, he releases trying to get out into the open court.
DeHare for 3, and he's got this. That's the first 3-point basket of the game. Cuts the lead to 1. Spencer over Avent. And a lot of blue shirts. Seton Hall doing a terrific job off the defensive board.
And they're going to need their guards, as we just saw, everyone getting back in there and helping on the defensive glass.
And another turnover. 5 turnovers against Seton Hall and a 3-on-1 break. Johnson was the trailer. And it was the freshman guard, Brian Caver, who nicked him, and it'll be a foul.
Right here, DeHare shoots it. Now look at Hunt. He is gone already looking for that outlet pass as soon as that shot goes up.
First personal, 5 team foul. Checking in.
Gordon Winchester checks back in the game, replacing Brian Caver.
Number 22, Winchester.
Oliver Taylor and DeHare in the backcourt, along with Avent, Winchester, and Jerry Walker. Seton Hall has made only 1 substitution. Elmore Spencer for Ackles at center, and he's still in there. And they're going to get Walker with another foul. That'll be his second, and the 16th foul against Seton Hall, and 1 more team foul, and UNLV will be in the bonus. And a timeout in a 1-point game. Mike Francesa, Quinn Buckner, Bill Walton, and Len Elmore will join them. Temple against North Carolina for the Eastern Regional Championship. Temple, the lowest seed remaining at number 10, and St. John's, who shocked Big Ten Ohio State against the Duke Blue Devils. They too would like to make another trip to the Final Four. Arturas Karnisovas has returned to the game for Seton Hall. So far, UNLV has capitalized on 5 turnovers for 8 points. That's half of their total so far. Anthony driving in. Oliver Taylor in a 3-on-2 opportunity for the Pirates. Doesn't go. Taylor misses. Johnson boards it.
Should have pulled up at the foul line. He had a 3-on-2 fast breaking opportunity.
Spencer nearly lost the ball to Avent. Goes in, travels. One of the few Rebel turnovers thus far. That's their first, actually, of the game. And George Ackles will return to the game, the starting center for UNLV, and Elmore Spencer will go out. Leading scorers so far for Seton Hall, Terry DeHare has 5 points. Larry Johnson and Stacey Augman each have 6 for UNLV. And here is DeHare, short with the jump shot. Greg Anthony. to Johnson. Karnisovas was trying to overplay, and it was Anthony Avent who came along on the weak side to commit the personal, and that's the 7th against Seton Hall, and it's the bonus for UNLV.
When Larry Johnson posts up, you're looking at a man that is 6'6", 250 pounds, and he just spreads all of that out, getting that good position, and he always gives the guard a target for him. You'll see him reach and put his left hand out as he did that time, and that's what the guard's supposed to hit.
And he's a man you have to watch when UNLV puts on the spurt, because Larry Johnson scored the first 9 points, for example, in the second half against Utah to send them on their way. Leads the team in scoring, rebounding, and free throw shooting. And makes 1 out of 2 in the first trip to the line tonight for the Rebels. DeHare short from the corner. He has been front rimming virtually all his jumpers.
Because that pressure from Anthony and Hunt come running at him, and he's trying to get it off a little too quickly to beat that pressure coming at him.
Greg Anthony, that's a 2. He hit one earlier from the same spot. 4 points for Greg Anthony, came in averaging 12. Avent double team, triple team. Hard off the glass. Finally draws the foul. That's great, relentless offensive board work by Avent against 3 defenders.
It sure was, and he has got to react a little better, though, when that double team comes down. That time Anthony came down to help defensively. He's got to find the open man who's on the perimeter for an easy jump shot.
Oliver Taylor leaves the game for Seton Hall, and Brian Caver, the freshman, replaces the senior. Greg Anthony with the personal foul, and that's the 14th foul against UNLV. Anthony Avent on the line. He survived foul trouble against Arizona in the semifinal game. In the Southeast region, Kansas defeated the top seed Arkansas to move to the Final Four in Indianapolis next week. One free throw for Anthony Avent. 3-point lead for the Rebels. Hunt in 3-point territory, and Karnisovas gets the rebound. Notice how Ackles got rid of it when he was double and triple team.
That's what you have to do and get that open jump.
Caver misses the jumper. Seton Hall has not been effective in hitting the perimeter shot thus far. Ball goes through, and it was last touched by Stacey Offman. Jerry Walker.
Jerry Walker checking in for Seton Hall.
Comes back in, and Anthony Avent will go to the bench. Avent has scored only 1 point after coming in as the second leading scorer for the Pirates at 18 a game.
That's that good defense, interior defense. What they're doing is fronting him down low, and Seton Hall hasn't been able to exploit that by throwing the lob so far in this game. Here's the Amoeba defense.
Nearly another turnover.
What they want to do is get the ball into the middle of the court, feeling that's the vulnerability.
Karnisovas has it blocked by Offman, blocked by Ackles. Pretty impressive defense by UNLV, and Anderson Hunt. It'll be Seton Hall ball.
That was just a great series of plays defensively, and then Seton Hall getting back so well defensively.
Very impressive interior defense by UNLV the last trip down for Seton Hall. Rebels by 3 with 9:10 remaining in the first half.
When Avent goes out of the game, they have no inside offensive threat for Seton Hall.
So UNLV can afford to extend their man-to-man.
Absolutely, and not be concerned about the post play.
Caver fires it up, in and out, tipped by Winchester. And Caver can't save it. UNLV takes over.
Now we'll see, this is against the Amoeba defense. Karnisovas penetrates, but here they converge on him. Ogman blocking, and now watch the next block. The beauty is the ball stays in play, and it leads to a fast breaking opportunity for UNLV.
Oliver Taylor back in the game. Seton Hall now is going to his own.
They're in their 1-3-1 zone. They're in because of the penalty situation and Larry Johnson's post play.
And no Avent in the game. Spencer with a nifty pass inside to Anderson Hunt. Hoffman misses. Hoffman goes up. And they call it a tie-up. It'll be Seton Hall's possession, but you've got to be impressed with UNLV's strength inside right now.
To say the least, they just dominated in there, and that's why we see Avent coming back in the game for Coach Carlissimo.
Let's hear this. Pretty rugged stuff underneath.
Now, there were four UNLV players on the boards. If Seton Hall could have gotten the rebound, they would have had an easy, fast-breaking layup.
They quickly converge on DeHare with two people. Taylor at the other side for three. And the rebound, long rebound to UNLV. They've got a 3-on-2. And they'll set it up. Seton Hall is shooting 25% from the field. And a three-point basket by Hunt.
UNLV is showing their different looks in this game a little bit more than you normally see. They're going to their amoeba defense now. What they're going to do, Seton Hall, is try to get it in the middle or skip passes. In other words, throw it over the top to the weak side.
DeHare gets his own rebound, was short again, and converts this time. The basket counts and a foul, but Seton Hall had missed 12 shots in a row before DeHare converted on the follow-up.
Now here's the amoeba defense, which actually ends up being a matchup zone where there's always someone playing their area against the ball. The problem this time is the swing and the penetration to the basket was just too easy. Right there, you're not supposed to be able to do that against the zone.
The amoeba defense, of course, the brainchild. Tim Gergerich learned it from John Egley, who was a coach at Penn State when Bobby Weiss played for them in the 60s, and then Buzz Riddle, who was a Pitt coach, and Gergerich learned in the Western Pennsylvania area. He's their defensive guru. Karnisovas and Tabor come back to Seton Hall and a timeout with 7.5 to play.
Back at the Kingdom, where UNLV leads by 3. Many people know that P.J. Carlissimo is one of 5 or 6 best coaches in the country, but he also is regarded as maybe got another career as a designer. He had a hand in designing this T-shirt, which is a takeoff on the old Pink Floyd T-shirt, Another Brick in the Wall. This is called Another Win for the Hall. Dick?
All right, Leslie, they're looking for one win here. It'll be the biggest maybe they've had in a long, long while as Hunt misses the three-point attempt and Seton Hall coming back down. Here's the time remaining in the first half inside to Avent. Here's one guy who's not been able to get off offensively thus far, and that's his first field goal of the game.
And I'm sure the players were made aware of that by Coach Carlissimo at that timeout.
P.J. Carlissimo said yesterday this team has surprised him. Somehow he says we're always finding a way to fight through adversity. George Ackles will come back in, replacing Elmore Spencer. Neither UNLV center has scored yet, and they've been averaging 14 a game combined. Stacey Augman. No resistance there, and he's got 8 points.
Isn't it something, the growth in this young man since he first went to UNLV and the Olympic team. But, you know, he was strictly known as a defensive player, and now he can go inside, outside, drive left or right.
Karnisovas hits his second three-point basket. He was 3 for 4 against Arizona, and now we're tied again at 24.
Seton Hall playing that 1-3-1 zone.
Hoffman fires away for 3, and he's got it. Oh, you're so right about his offense. He was, by the way, the youngest member of that U.S. Olympic team that got the bronze in Seoul in '88. Going for the loose ball, another turnover. DeHare lost it. Here's Anthony. UNLV looking every bit the role of a national champion right now, leading by 5.
When I watch UNLV to see if they're sharp, it's them getting to loose balls and creating turnovers, and they've done all of those things in this first half. Offensive foul.
Push off with the left hand by Arturas Karnisovas. We're at the Kingdome in Seattle, Washington in the West Regional Final. This is Dick Stockton along with Bill Cunningham and Leslie Visser as the running Rebels, who have not played their best ball, but within one game of getting back to the Final Four and leading Seton Hall 29-24, and a timeout called by the Pirates. Called because the offensive boards have had the edge there. Seton Hall has not hit well 3 of their last 15.
And no patience with their setups.
Larry Johnson is fouled. Got the ball inside. Right now, let's go to Leslie Visser. Les?
Dick, during the last timeout, PJ Carlissimo said what Billy Cunningham just said. He wants them to show patience. He also wants them to concentrate on their transition defense and on the dribble penetration. He wants them to finish the play, not just try to go one-on-one. Dick?
I'm not surprised that the coach here would have an idea what the coach there was.
I was scared to death he was going to be telling him something else.
Arturas Karnisovas has picked up his 3rd personal foul, the first player in the game to do so. Larry Johnson, who is an 83% free throw shooter, misses. How does that hurt them?
Well, it hurts him because he's shooting the ball so well from the perimeter. That would open it up and just give Seton Hall another weapon. But the problem, too, is we're watching UNLV have the ability to go inside to get it to Larry Johnson, even against the zone.
30-24, 6-point lead. Each side has had a 6-point advantage in this first half. 5.5 minutes to play. Overplaying man-to-man. Jerry Walker, who replaced Karnisovas. DeHare. That one drops for him. 2-point basket for DeHare, who's only 4 for 9.
Boy, UNLV just doesn't give you a second to take a breath. They just come firing back out at you.
They have certainly awakened. Regardless of the result of this game, they're playing a lot more sprightly than they did in the previous 2 games. Johnson on a block from Aukman. Beautifully executed. Larry Johnson with 10 now. Aukman has 11. Winchester into Avent. They overplay, and if they get it, fine. If they miss, it's an easy layup, and Avent now has 5.
One of the things when you watch UNLV and they go to their set defense offense against the zone is watch how they space the basketball.
Larry Johnson. They continue to get the ball to Larry Johnson, who is planted under the basket, and Johnson has 12 points. Walker finds Winchester. Good pass inside to Avent. Seton Hall going inside as well.
Good patience. They have to tighten up their defense. UNLV is scoring too easily. Now there's that spacing I was talking about.
3-point attempt by Hunt. Walker boxing out.
There's a courageous young man, Walker. You know, in the last game, I was saying, boy, he's got bad hands and he can't handle the basketball. Well, I found out the poor young man has got a bad thumb, he's got a bad wrist, and it's been for 2 months, and the only way he can get healed is 2 months of vacation.
DeHare misses. Rebound by Anthony. He hopes that vacation doesn't start tomorrow. Hunt hits a 3. Anderson Hunt with his second 3-point basket. And a 7-point lead, the largest of the game for either team, with 3:13 to go in the first half. Seton Hall is undefeated on neutral courts this year at 7-0. But they're playing the best right now. Walker trying to post up against Ackles. And DeHare fouled Greg Anthony, claiming it was a push-off. Well, tonight on CBS special movie, Where the Hell's That Goal? Tonight on CBS.
3 substitutions for the Rebels. Checking in
Substitutions.
3,
Travis Bice, a 6'5" junior from Simi Valley, California, has come in. Everett Gray, a sophomore from Bloomington, California. There's Larry Johnson getting a rest with 12 points. And Elmore Spencer comes in at center.
2 shots.
On the line for 2 is Terry DeHare, 84% this season from the line. How do you look at this game? It is now a 37-31 game, and Seton Hall has been really outplayed thus far.
Absolutely. At both ends of the court right in the last several minutes of this game. Earlier in the game, at least they were doing the job on the boards, getting some second chances. Right now, UNLV is doing it offensively, getting easy opportunities and doing the job defensively.
DeHare goes out of the game, and Brian Caver replaces him. DeHare leads Seton Hall with 12. One of the problems Seton Hall has had with DeHare, who's really been a savior for them in this tournament, is shot selection. They don't always like the shots he takes.
I'm sure of one thing. They're very happy that Larry Johnson is on the bench.
Anthony misses the shot. Rebound taken down by Taylor, and he's tripped up from behind by Greg Anthony. That'll be the 17th foul against UNLV in the bonus for Seton Hall.
Now Anthony is going to try and sneak in there and get the steal, and what he does is get the back of the sneaker of Taylor.
And each team now, Bill, has 3 personal fouls. Greg Anthony committing his 3rd right there, and of course Arturas Karnisovas, who's been on the bench for Seton Hall with 3.
The more important one is Greg Anthony, because he's the leader of this ball club, setting up the offense, and he was doing an excellent job defensively against DeHare, just pounding him all over the court.
They don't give Larry Johnson much of a rest. He checks back in. Anderson Hunt, you saw, came in for Anthony, who goes out with 3.
Now more responsibility. Hunt now has to become the lead guard. And Jerry Tarkanian was hoping that next year he would be his lead guard, but being thrust into the spot. And Bice, who would go to the off guard, he is the 3-point shooter. He can shoot the ball pretty well from the perimeter.
Hunt, by the way, has not had an outstanding tournament. He's averaging 6 points fewer than his season's average, and is averaging 7 turnovers for 1 assist per game.
Not very good.
Taylor gets both free throws, and the lead is down to 3. Ackles throws it away. Looking for Johnson. Johnson wasn't underneath.
Let me tell you, great defense by Walker. He was fronting, and he was able to see the basketball and make the steal. Now they're in the amoeba, looking to get the ball inside or skip pass, which they just did.
Ever since P.J. Carlissimo called the timeout, Seton Hall has been a lot more patient.
I think he raised his voice.
Amen in the middle, surrounded.
Good defense. 5 seconds left on the 45-second clock. They're going to have to get a wild one up.
Taylor fires it up wildly. Amen gets the offensive rebound, and he's fouled. Everett Gray on the foul. And that was a prayer thrown up there.
Which is answered. Because now they get an opportunity to get 2 points out of this possession.
There is Asaf Barnea. More of that international flavor on the Pirates. The freshman from Israel, who's come in replacing Jerry Walker. Amen has 7 points. Second leading scorer to Terry DeHare's 12 thus far for Seton Hall. And Terry DeHare will check back in with 1:41 left. Seton Hall has done a terrific job off the offensive glass. It's kept them in the game.
And another area they've done a good job is starting this ball game. They were getting hurt. Transition, easy opportunities for UNLV. They've just done a better job getting back as a team, stopping them.
It's a 1-point game for UNLV. They were up by 7.
Now they're back into that zone.
Bice, he's the 3-point threat, as you mentioned. 47% from there.
shot.
Everett Gray forces that one up, but it's going to come back in the hands of Bice with a minute to go. And a 3-point attempt is missed by Anderson Hunt, and it's lay-in by Everett Gray.
Everett Gray went, oops, look what I found.
39-36 in favor of the Rebels with under a minute to go. Shot clock is on at 35 seconds.
Well, you could see one thing in this first half. When we said in the opening that Seton Hall wanted to play UNLV and had no fear, and they weren't going to look to come down and just use the clock. They wanted to go after them, and they have to feel pretty good going in here at halftime.
Big thing for them is that they lost patience early and were not really taken out of the game total.
And the big key was the timeout by Coach Carlissimo.
There's the time remaining and the shot clock down to 3. Missed by Caver. Final seconds. Anderson. And there's the buzzer. But a well-played first half of basketball. And that is the end of the first half with the score. UNLV 39 and Seton Hall 36. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Pizza Hut and their new MVP 4-topping pizza. And by Mass Mutual. At Mass Mutual, we help you keep your promises.
UNLV with a 3-point lead, and right now let's send you over to Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Here with the man who knows how tough it is to play UNLV, Rick Majerus of Utah. Rick, what can Seton Hall do?
Well, Seton Hall's in good shape right now. They got to continue to conversion defense is going to be important, and they've got to continue to board with them and not let them get those easy shots. I think they're in terrific shape.
All right, Billy, just at the end of the first half, P.J. Carlissimo had some words for Asaf Barnett as they were going off the court. As a former coach, what went on here?
Well, he was just starting his halftime talk a little bit early. Tarkanian waited till he got into the locker room.
How do you look at this game right now? Going into the second half, Seton Hall down by 3 points.
Well, I think that Seton Hall has to be very happy. Two things. For UNLV, they must do a better job on the defensive boards, and they have to get this game into their tempo. Seton Hall controlled the tempo.
Greg Anthony has 3 personal fouls, and that really could be a big factor for UNLV because he's on the bench for 3 and they need his floor leadership.
Oh, he is the leader of that ball club. And we can't forget that Larry Johnson also has 2 and was able to play the last 14 minutes with just 2 fouls. So that's going to be a big key.
Seton Hall missed 12 shots in a row at one point, shot only 35%. UNLV with the fast break edge at points 13-2, but Seton Hall with 10-5 edge in offensive rebounds. Terry DeHare with 12, Larry Johnson with 12 are the leading scorers, and we're underway in the second half with Rebels ball. Johnson had 12. Stacey Augmon was right behind with 11 points. Avent had 9. Backing up to Hare's 12 for Seton Hall. George Ackland, who did not score in the first half, misses, and the rebound by Oliver Taylor. So it's Taylor and DeHare at guard. And up front, it's Karnisovas who's playing with 3 personals, Avent and Gordon Winchester.
Now they can't wait to get Avent involved in the offense because it took almost 13 minutes before he got involved with the set offense of Seton Hall.
DeHare in the lane. Ackland gets the rebound. Good opportunity for the Pirates. Larry Johnson hits the 3. He had been 1 for 8 from 3-point range in the tournament coming into this game. Karnisovas in traffic loses the ball to UNLV. Seton Hall turned it over 5 minutes early in the game, only twice in the last 12. Anderson Hunt, who's 3 for 13 shooting. He struggled shooting against Seton Hall 2 years ago in Denver in the regional final.
We're seeing the impact that guards are having for Seton Hall on the defensive boards. They have half of the defensive rebounds for this ball club. Good pressure by UNLV coming out of the locker room. Now can they sustain it?
Taylor, too hard off the glass. Remember, Utah was only down by 6 at halftime in the semifinal Thursday. Rebels ran away with it after that. Stacey Augmon with his first points of the second half.
So coming out of the locker room, UNLV is the sharper team. Seton Hall's got to get the ball inside.
Ackles steals the pass intended for Avon. Larry Johnson with 17 points. And Seton Hall is going to call a timeout here. A 7-0 run here in the second half.
Come on, you guys, we're going to be late. So what? We're just going to...
And watch the end of this play. Anthony having the confidence and seeing Larry Johnson who lays it in. Two things, the great hands and the concentration on the rim.
17-2 in fast break points and another turnover. Ackles long pass to Augmon. So the Rebels not stalled as a result of that timeout called by PJ.
Anthony is over on the side.
Greg Anthony is shaken up. Right now, let's go to Leslie Visser. Les?
During the last timeout, Dick, PJ used it sort of as an emotional charge. He went down the line to each player. Karnisovas, are you okay? Avon, are you okay? And to Taylor, he said, I have 3 words for you, Ollie. Run the offense. Dick?
All right, Leslie.
Now look at the hustle here by Greg Anthony. Carlissimo throwing a cross-body block. Now this is the way, this is what we're used to seeing of UNLV basketball-wise. The problem they've had all through this tournament, you see the wax, he picked up some wax on his sneakers when he ran over and made that great steal. But can they sustain this type of defensive pressure?
Biggest lead of the game right now, 10 points, 46-36. There's a loop into Larry Johnson. Jerry Walker, who came in for Gordon Winchester, nearly causes the turnover, but you can't get rid of that man that easily. Loose balls.
That's when you know, as we mentioned in the first half, when they were playing well, they're just all over the place. Anything loose.
Augmon stepped out of bounds, but very close to yet another steal by the Rebels. Seton Hall has not scored a basket in nearly 7.5 minutes going back to the first half. Long drought.
And they haven't had a good opportunity. That's even worse for them.
They have to hang up the phone, clean up the water, check out the wax. You need some help there.
It looks like they cleaned up the playing surface, but might not have cleaned up the out-of-bounds area with the wax.
Brian Tabor moves into the lineup for Seton Hall. And Oliver Taylor is out. The UNLV 9-0 this half, and yet another turnover. Scored 11 straight points going back to the first half. They're putting on a show now. Anderson Hunt slices in.
Now this is a clinic they're putting on for this first 4 minutes of this second half on how to play defense. Now they're out denying. Look at them all over the place. What
a great save by Stacey Augmon, and a foul called against Terry DeHare. And Greg Anthony looked like he might have jammed his wrist in the process.
Well, the happiest man in this building right now is Jerry Tarkanian, because this is what he said that his team has been lacking, and they're actually giving it to him right now.
Number 22, Gordon Winchester, checking in for the Pirates.
Yesterday they worked on the floor. What was the ratio of bleach to water, Billy?
4-to-1
okay,
bleach.
I wanted to get that right. UNLV was slipping.
I was out there. Didn't you see me?
Yeah.
I was the guy with the on my knees scraping the floor.
Right. Winchester in the lineup now for Seton Hall. Larry Johnson hits another three, his second in 2 tries, and he's got 22 points. UNLV to this point has blown this one open, have outscored Seton Hall 14-0 here in the second half. DeHare. Winchester finally breaks the drought for Seton Hall. It took them 8.5 minutes. And guess what? Hunt comes back with a 3.
I'll tell you what, this is just beautiful to watch. The basketball that UNLV is playing at this moment.
If they sustain it, they're going to answer a lot of questions. Walker draws the foul inside, and that will be only the first team foul against the Rebels in this half. George Ackles with his first.
Well, what you're going to have to do, though, if you're Seton Hall, is when you say execute your offense, that means setting the good screens, allowing people to pop out and receive the pass to get into their offense. They're not doing those things. They're allowing this great pressure to just overwhelm them.
The senior, Oliver Taylor, replaces the freshman who's talking with P.J. Carlesimo, Brian Caber, and Jerry Walker on the free throw line. 17-2 run by the running Rebels to open up the second half. Has given them a solid cushion.
There's a lot of people that can relate to that run that they've beaten through this 44-game winning streak. Someone's got to step forward, an individual, to get things turned around for Seton Hall. And right now, it's got to be Anthony Avent. He's the senior of this ball club that's on the court.
And the lone holdover from the Final Four of 2 years ago. Stacey Augman. They're just getting the loose balls, as you pointed out. Hunt. Finally, DeHare and Avent go after it, but UNLV is taking a toll out of Seton Hall right here. Avent rolls it in.
Good, strong move with his left hand.
Got a little careless. DeHare in a 2-on-1. Winchester is pushed by Anderson Hunt. That will be Hunt's first personal foul.
Now, that was the best series we've seen this half by Seton Hall. Excellent defense, and what it led for them is an opportunity with 2 foul shots.
Timeout called by Jerry Tarkanian. UNLV putting on a show in the second half, leading by 15. With Temple against North Carolina and St. John's and Duke, 2 ACC teams going at it in the East and in the Midwest Regional Finals. Everett Gray and Elmore Spencer come back in the lineup for the running Rebels, and Anderson Hunt still hurting a bit on the bench.
And boy, that'd be some loss to this UNLV ball club. Now, he hurt that. He had a problem with that in the first half, and then he banged it again when he took that foul on Winchester.
Hunt has hit 3 3-point baskets in this game. Lead is 14. Oliver Taylor with his second foul.
Seton Hall has extended their defense. They're looking to pick up now full court.
Second personal. Second team foul.
Each team has been hit with 2 team fouls. Greg Anthony had 10 assists against Utah, only 1 turnover, 9 assists, and 2 turnovers. Playing another solid game. But also playing with 3 persons. Larry Johnson. Everett Gray wins the race from DeHare, but stepped on the line. And it'll be Seton Hall's goal.
Well, DeHare pushed him out of bounds and got away with it. Now watch this right here. DeHare just pushes it with his left hand, and he slides there. I just wonder if that's the wax again.
DeHare misses a 3, and the rebound by Gray. DeHare had 12 points at halftime, is yet to score. Stacey Augman edges his way in. Rebound by Spencer. And he's fouled. Right now, let's send you over to Leslie Visser. Les?
Dick Anderson Hunt sprained his left shoulder actually in the first half, and then he sprained it again. He jammed it again on that foul. When I asked him, are you going back in, he said, most definitely. Dick?
I would think that most definitely they need him, and most definitely he wants to play more.
And most definitely, if he sits over there very long, that's going to stiffen up on him. So I would expect him to get, as soon as the pain goes away, to be back in the ball game, so he doesn't get cooled down.
Anthony Aven committed that last foul. He's going to go out as Arturas Karnisovas will come in. Winchester sits down, and not Aven. Aven with 2 fouls remains in the game. Elmore Spencer, who tied a season high with 15 points against Utah, hits 1 free throw.
Okay, they're in that amoeba defense now, putting pressure on the ball.
Karnisovas, who was a big 3-point threat against Arizona, is hit on the arm by Everett Gray.
It surprises me a little bit that they're going to the amoeba because they've been so aggressive with their man-to-man. And here we see it. It's a matchup zone, looking to play the basketball, coming out and pressuring it, picking up the foul right here against Karnisovas.
Park used the amoeba exclusively in the second half to finally put down Utah.
But he told us, though, even though they won the game handily, that he wasn't happy with it. If they won by that score playing good hard-nosed man-to-man, he would have been ecstatic.
Oliver Taylor hits the 3-point basket, his first of the game. 12-point lead for UNLV. They had it up to 14. About 8 minutes remaining in the second half, and Anderson Hunt gets set to check back in the game. Augman, air ball. Gray saves it nicely. Anthony for 3. Interesting, UNLV is getting all the long rebounds, even off the offensive board.
That's why your guards have to rebound when there's when you're shooting jump shots. There's a tendency for the long rebounds. That's why you need your guards to not release, but they must think rebound.
Stacey Augman leaves with 13 points, and Anderson Hunt is back in.
In the last couple minutes, we've seen the tempo change again. UNLV now, as you see, they're allowing Seton Hall to run their offense. They're swinging the basketball. A few minutes ago, they couldn't do a thing.
Taylor Anthony trying to steal it from behind, and Larry Johnson over the top has just committed his 3rd personal foul with 11:33 to play.
And that's been the problem with UNLV. Can they maintain that intensity? And I know how hard it is. We're talking about young kids playing college basketball to maintain it, but for them to live out their dream and win another national championship, they're going to have to be able to do it.
Couldn't get it inbounds in 5 seconds, so it'll be turned over back to the Rebels. And P.J. Carlissimo sees an opportunity go by the boards there. So Larry Johnson and Greg Anthony each playing with 3 fouls. Overplaying, and a good steal by Jerry Walker.
Walker is some defensive player down there. That's some challenge for him playing Larry Johnson.
Karnisovas, long rebound as he misses the 3. Seton Hall gets back effectively on the defense. Everett Gray, Anthony with a bullet pass inside. And that'll be Walker's 3rd foul.
Number 21.
George Ackles will come in, and Larry Johnson goes out. So the two centers for the Rebels are in there now, Ackles and Spencer, and Larry Johnson goes out having scored 22.
Everett Gray shooting 2.
Next Saturday, the Final Four show begins at noon Eastern, and the women's national semifinals follows at 12:30 Eastern. How does Anderson Hunt look to you right now, Bill?
Well, we'll find out when he looks to take his jump shot, or if he gets banged, how he reacts to it.
Stacey Augmon will replace Gray. Jerry Tarkanian will never have Johnson and Augmon out at the same time, will he?
We all can understand why.
Avent loses the ball. UNLV's picked up just about every loose ball in this game.
Now, Avent has got to read the defense. When they double team him, he's got to swing that basketball before the defense even gets there.
Spencer and Ackles. Both centers in there, and Elmore Spencer draws the foul, and that will be the 15th foul against the Hall. 3 now on Anthony Avent.
Fouls on number 32, Anthony Avent. Third personal.
Avent with 3 fouls. He played
Number 22, Gordon Winchester.
in foul trouble against Arizona. Gordon Winchester has come in to replace Karnisovas. Karnisovas has scored just 6 points in this game.
Spencer shooting.
Both coming on 3-point baskets. And next week, the Final Four show at 5 o'clock Eastern, and the men's national semifinals follow at 5:30 Eastern time. Spencer. 61-45.
Going to have to find a way to get the hair going, because he just is not involved at all.
Walker has a shot deflected by Ackles. Still in the hands of Walker. And it's going to be UNLV ball, as Augmon might have touched it, but Avent touched it last, and that is the 15th turnover committed by Seton Hall.
Number 55,
Karnisovas replaces Avent, who goes out with 3 fouls. Avent has 11. Terry DeHare is yet to score here in the second half, Bill.
He's not been involved, hasn't touched the basketball. Several situations I've noticed that when he's come off screens, they haven't set the screens for him to free himself up.
Pirates get the ball back. And it's a foul on George Ackles. That's how they get it back, his second on George.
But that's not unusual, because when a team is very aggressive defensively, as we've seen UNLV during stretches of this second half, that creates that problem for the offense to execute.
UNLV's not even letting Seton Hall get a chance to spot up for threes. Look how tight they're playing Taylor and now DeHare.
Yeah, they're back in that zone.
Taylor gets inside the line and misses. Winchester, Karnisovas, blocked by Spencer. Up ahead to Hunt. 2 men back defensively. And Hunt throws the ball away. Larry Johnson, who has hit 9 of 11 from the field and leads with 22, checks back in for the Rebels.
Now watch the shot. Watch them get on the glass. Karnisovas goes up. Spencer says no.
Also checking in, number 10, Brian.
Avent with 3 fouls is back in for Seton Hall in the front court, and Brian Caver replaces Taylor at point guard for Seton Hall. He's got the ball. Get it inside to Anthony Avent. Running Rebels have outscored Seton Hall 22-11 so far in the second half, after leading by 3 after 20 minutes. Muscling inside, Larry Johnson again. 24 points. That's more than he scored against Utah.
That's too tough a matchup for the freshman Karnisovas. He physically, at this stage of his career, just cannot deal with a Larry Johnson in the low post.
And a great play on the baseline by Caver for his first points. as he said, this is for the student championship. He looks at Larry Johnson. He says, was I right about saying student the way he looked? He looks like a truck the way he handles himself inside. He runs again. A runaway truck. Good box out by Avon. The lead is 14 for UNLV. Nearly 8.5 minutes remaining in the second half. The right to go to the Final Four. Turnover. It's still going to be running Rebels ball.
Here's what it's like dealing with Larry Johnson on the inside. He just pushes Karnisovas up the lane. Has no choice but just to let him to score.
Larry Johnson has led the UNLV in scoring in all their tournament games so far, doing it again today. Ackles replaces Spencer in the lineup. Against Avon, trying to get him to pick up his fourth foul. He gets the basket, does Larry Johnson.
He shows us he can go to his right, then he shows us going to the left, using the left hand. He's hit a three-point shot today. What else?
That's all you need. Faber tried to get it to Winchester.
How about a few steals?
He's got those too. In fact, he's led the team in steals in the tournament coming in.
Seton Hall's got to pick up the pace at the defensive end of the court. They're going to have to get out and deny some passes, gamble a little bit at the defensive end.
Larry Johnson dominating this game every which way. 28 points. And it looks easy for the way the Rebels are playing now.
And now they're going to try and use a little bit of the clock when they go to their set offense. And one thing that Seton Hall has got to look to do is give some help to the big people when Larry Johnson has the ball. Come back when he puts the ball on the floor, force him to give it up.
Kingdome in Seattle, the scene of the Western Regional Final between UNLV and Seton Hall. And after a three-point deficit, UNLV with a 28-13 edge in the second half. They're doing it by turnovers, converted into fast break points, and Larry Johnson having a phenomenal game with 28 points. And 12 for 15 from the field, and UNLV's defense has held Seton Hall to 35% shooting.
Let's not forget the defense that they're applying to Terry DeHare. Terry DeHare is 0 for 3 in this second half, and that's been, for the most part, Greg Anthony, and at times, Hunt has been out on him on the defensive end.
They've been depending on him for 20 points a game. He's got 12 right now, but nothing here in this half. 67-49.
Now, with this amoeba defense, it'll slow the tempo down, but right now they'd like to see Seton Hall run some time off the clock. .45-second clock, no bench. They didn't get that shot up before that 45-second clock expired.
Right. Double zeros on the horn were up there. It was a moot point, missed anyway. Trying to stretch the lead to 20. UNLV has not had a 20-point lead in this game. George Ackles gives it to them. What an exclamation point that is. First basket of the game for Ackles. Three different Rebels are in double figures, led by Johnson with 28.
But that doesn't mean he's not playing an excellent game. Blocking some shots and active defensively. The thing that's so impressive about this team as a whole is how each player is willing to sacrifice a little bit of himself for the betterment of the team and enjoying the great success that they've had all year.
Amen is back in the game. Stacey Augman picked up his third foul. And of course, Jerry Tarkanian was talking about the chemistry and how much the players like each other, and sometimes people think that's all just vanilla stuff, but it really means something with this club.
And they have the same feeling towards their coach, Jerry Tarkanian.
The lead is 20, biggest of the game, Jerry Walker. Nice inside for the layup. 2 years ago, Seton Hall defeated UNLV 84-61 to win the West Regional in Denver before the Hall lost to Michigan in overtime in the championship game here. A different year.
It sure is. Now we see Vegas showing a lot of patience, looking to use that 45-second clock. That's why I'm saying Seton Hall's got to get out and pressure a little bit more defensively and gamble on some steals.
Larry Johnson slammed through, no basket. They're going to call George Ackles with a foul.
Now the question is, did Ackles go up on someone's shoulder, allowing him to get this tip?
Let's hear it now.
That was 2 points. He got a bad call.
Arturas Karnisovas on the line. Tomorrow, North Carolina and Temple. How do you look at that game, Bill?
Temple, the lowest seed team, still living in the NCAA tournament, playing great basketball. Mark Macon coming back from, well, his last trip to East Rutherford was a nightmare, but yesterday he carried the Temple Owls to a victory over Oklahoma State. A great game.
Carolina's been looking very tough, though, ever since they won that ACC tournament over Duke. Getting close to the 5-minute mark. Kansas already in the Final Four.
And one of the problems when you play this team, well, that's one of the problems, but when I say go out and pressure and deny this UNLV ball club, they have all 5 players are so quick that they can step out and receive the basketball. It's so tough on the defense to come out and deny them.
But their defense is what made this all happen for them. They're going to count the basket. Goaltending charge to Ackles, and Jerry Walker will get credit for the basket. Larry Johnson will inbound. 30 points for Larry Johnson. 71-55. The Rebels lead the Pirates. 4.5 minutes to play. Ackles picking up the loose ball from the pinball machine, and UNLV's getting the edge every which way.
Any of the teams watching today that are going to have a chance to play against this team in Indianapolis, they better get to the loose balls, because if they don't, it'll be number 2 for the UNLV running Reds.
Oliver Taylor on their last basket. The Rebels will play the winner of the Duke St. John's game tomorrow for the Midwest Regional Championship in Pontiac. And a personal foul against Karnisovas, and that'll be his 4th. Timeout here in Seattle.
That's his 4th personal foul.
DC Commissioner of the Big East. Mike, you have 2 teams in the Final 8. Is this the Seton Hall we saw all year, or is UNLV that dominant?
I think UNLV is that dominant. Defensively, they're as good as a team as I've seen since the great defensive teams at Georgetown in the early 80s, Les.
What do you see for the team at St. John's? What do they have to do to beat Duke?
St. John's has to play at the top of their game, because I think Duke is the one team that can be very dangerous because they've had the experience of already playing UNLV.
Maybe there's one more win in that sweater. Dick?
All right, Leslie and Mike, got to be proud of what the Big East has accomplished. Billy, I'd like to get your opinion on what would be another meeting if Duke were to beat St. John's and to play UNLV.
Oh, I think that this team is an outstanding basketball team, number 1, but invincible, no. That they have to be at the top of their game when they go to Indianapolis. Now, I think there's some things that you have to do against them, though. I think that at the defensive end of the court, you have to have that 3rd man back defensively to stop their transition game.
George Ackles. How about their inside team?
Inside, I would have someone doubling down on Larry Johnson. I would have a game plan that I would not allow Larry Johnson to beat me, or at least I'd try to have that philosophy, would not beat me on the inside. So that means that if he did receive the basketball, I'd have someone doubling him down low on the post.
Has the shot blocked by George Ackles. Terrific play.
That's why I said when you look at George Ackles, might not be any numbers. He just has a few points out here today, but he does so many other things with blocking shots, running the court, helping out defensively.
3 blocks today by Ackles. Here's that man, Larry Johnson. Gets his own rebound, blocked by Avent. Good play by Avent that time.
Now, one of the problems the teams are going to have playing against this team, I think the other point is that the offensive end of the court, you're going to have to force them to pay for their overplaying aggressive defense. And I think if you have a guard, number one, that can handle the ball and beat, you know, Greg Anthony off the dribble and penetrate with an open court, that can create problems. Spreading the court, force if they do come out and deny, look for backdoor opportunities. That, if you do those couple things, that might make them a little less aggressive out there in the court because they're getting hurt with easy baskets.
Terry DeHare will come in for Seton Hall. Everett Gray on the right. H. Waldman on the left coming back in. Waldman making his first appearance. Larry Johnson's going to go out of the game having scored 30 points, 6 rebounds, 13 of 19 from the field. UNLV led by 3 at halftime, and the Rebels scored the first 11 points of the second half, 7 of them by Larry Johnson. And in the semifinal, he scored the first 9 against Utah in the second half.
You know, I think with all the controversy surrounding that man, we tend to forget what a great coach he is. This man has been in coaching for 30 years, and I think this man surely has the qualifications, if they win this year, or not, even if they don't win this year, to be in the Hall of Fame.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Does he have the Al Davis syndrome? The LA Raiders?
That's another issue. 75-57 with 1:20 to play. UNLV, they weren't as sharp, proved in the second half. Back to the way they were. Winchester with the follow-up.
Winchester.
Darrell Christ, a sophomore guard, has come into the lineup for Seton Hall. Under a minute to go. And Winchester fouls Ogden. The coordinating producer of NCAA basketball on CBS is Bob Dekas. Today's West Regional Final was produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Larry Cavallina. The Road to the Final Four was produced by David Winter and directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of CBS Sports is Ed Gorin, and the executive producer of CBS Sports is Ted Shaker.
When we look at this Seton Hall basketball team, there's only 2 seniors on this club. That's Anthony Avent and Oliver Taylor, that we'll see the rest of this team back again. They should be very proud of what they've been able to achieve this season.
Winning 12 of their last 14 games. As P.J. Carlesimo said, well, we've tried to establish a program, and I think they've done that.
Oh, he sure has. And his career reminds me a great deal of Dean Smith's career. Because Dean Smith struggled early in his career as a coach. P.J. Carlesimo was on the hot seat there at Seton Hall. But now we talk about P.J. Carlesimo being one of the top 5 or 6 coaches in the country. And he surely warrants that high regard.
And his record is not bad in NCAA play, 9-3 after this one.
It's amazing what players do for programs, though.
Terry DeHare hits a 3-point basket, and that is his first points of the second half for Terry DeHare, and that's one of the cogs that UNLV has shut down effectively here. And our Chevrolet players of the game, Anthony Avent of Seton Hall, And Larry Johnson with 30 points. The season's high, by the way, was 35. And also his career high against Michigan State earlier in the year.
They'll see each other at the next level.
Waldman and Rice in the game. Melvin Love is in for UNLV. Everett Gray. And Travis Bice. UNLV will get to the Final Four for the second year in a row and third time in the last 5 years. Trying to win that second national title. Last team to do it, back-to-back UCLA. Back in '73. Crisp with a three. Darryl Crisp.
Well, it's going to be fun time in Indianapolis after they finish up tomorrow and we find out who those 4 teams are going to be competing for that great honor, the national championship.
And everyone will still ask the question, can anyone still beat UNLV? The game is over. UNLV wins it 77-65, and they'll go to Indy.